turn it on and clear. Okay, so actually let's move this over. So let's go, how do you do, on this calculator, how do you do it? You go 3 to the, that little up thing, whatever you call it, caret thing, that's your exponent. On your TI-30XAs, if you have any of those, you have a y to the x button. Okay, it does the same exact thing. So 3 to the 4th, we already know, is 81. So what about 256? What's your next logical step? Your next logical step would be go to the next number, right? Go to 4 to the what? 4th, right? Sometimes that doesn't push. And push that in there. Oh, how about that? It's 256. Isn't that coincidence? Not really. You knew they rigged these things, didn't you? Okay, so let's just do that. Oops. All right, so 4 to the 4th is 256. And that's what we did. You just use your calculator if you need to, or if you can do the stuff in your head, do it in your head. That's fine. All right? Does that make sense?
I understand it now.
Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, that should be enough.
Yeah, 11 and 12 are different than...
Yeah, you're right. They are. Okay, well, let's take a look. What do we got? Till 11:00 what? 6. Okay, we got 10 minutes. We can do this. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Go to this.
I got 216, but I didn't realize how they got the plus or minus.
Okay. Oops, brush. Which one is it? Number what? 11, okay. 36 equals b to the 2/3. All right, here's another thing. Remember we said if the bases are the same, then you set the exponents to each other, equal to each other. What if we had this? What if I had x squared equals 7 squared? Are the bases the same there? No, they're not. Okay, but what is the same? The exponents. What do you think x is just by looking at this thing? It's 7. So we could look at it the other way too, couldn't we? We could say if the exponents were equal to each other, what do you think? Then the bases are going to be equal to each other, aren't they? All right, so that's a different way of thinking, but very similar, right, to what we did before. So let's get rid of that. All right, so let's take a look at and do that. So there's no way we're going to get the bases the same here. This is b and this is 36. Is there any way to take a 36 and make it into a b? Obviously not. But what we want to do is try to make it into this. Now, let's think about this b to the 2/3. We talked about this earlier in the year. You may not have remembered, but b to the 2/3 is the same as b to the what? 1/3 to the squared. Okay, would you agree with that? Or you could look at it, well, I'll tell you what, let's do another option right here. You could look at it as b squared what? To the 1/3. Okay, now is there any way we could do anything with this 36 to do either one of these?
6 squared.
Okay, so, well, 6 squared, but then,
The 6 is
so you can't go 6 squared. Let's try, something squared. Well, if it's 6 squared, 1/3, how can we get a, actually, I'm struggling with this myself. Let's take a look. What can we do? Well, because, okay, yeah, we can do that. Let's do that. Tyrone, you're absolutely right. Why not 6 squared? Because this thing is squared, isn't it? I see it now. Thanks, Tyrone. So 6 squared is equal to this, isn't it? So look, the exponents are equal to, now not the 1/3, but the 2 and the 2. The squareds are the same, aren't they? So what can we do then? We can set the bases equal to each other. So what are we setting equal to each other here? 6 and what else? b to the 1/3. So 6 equals b to the 1/3. How does that help you? Well, how do you get rid of a 1/3 power? Take it to the 3rd power, right? That'll get rid of it, won't it? If I cube it, because it's not that complicated. It did take me a few minutes to look at. So we take it to the 3rd. Is this the one where it's plus or minus? Okay.
It didn't make sense to me.
All right, so b, so that goes away, doesn't it? Right, because you multiply those together and they'll go. So 6 cubed, 36 times 6, what is that number? What's the number? What's 36? 216. If I'm not sure, I'll do this. What is it? 6 cubed? Get this out of the way. So how do we do that? We go 6 to the third equals 216. Okay. Just like you said. Yeah, that's the answer. And I said plus or minus, right? Well, it's because of this. Because you said b is 216, right? Look at this thing right here. If I put if I take the cube root of 216, what do I get? I get 6, right? And I take 6 and I square it and I get 36. So that works. But also, negative works too, because if I take the cube root of negative 216, what's the cube root of negative 216? No, not positive. What times itself times itself? Negative, right? Negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6. Would you agree? Times negative 6 times negative 6 equals what? Negative 216, right? So if b is negative, if b is negative 216, the cube root of negative 216 is negative 6. What's negative 6 squared? It's positive 36. So both of them work, don't it? Don't it? Listen to me. And I'm being recorded. Right? So positive works, okay, and the negative works as well. On a test or a quiz or something like that, I would be fine with just positive 216. I'm not going to make you put the negative there. That wasn't quite as obvious, as stuff that we've done before where you had square roots and, you got the plus or minus. So I'm fine with you just putting positive 216.
When
Yep.
I did that, because I remember we did something like that last year, and you showed us a calculator trick
Oh, I did?
where let me see, use 36 seconds. You take 36 and you hit the second button, the Y to the X.
Right.
And you do it to the 2, and you get a 6. And then you take the 6 and you take it to the third.
So that's basically what we just.
Yeah, it's doing it here. Yeah, I mean, it's doing it here. We just kind of did it in our head, but
That's what you showed us last year, because you said we could just use a calculator instead of writing it all out.
yeah, and that's fine too. But I want you to see where you're getting all these numbers from, that kind of thing. You could do this. Watch this. Let me show you a little bit of a shortcut. I don't know if it'll make more sense to you or not. But you know how we got rid, and I just didn't even think of this until right now. This right here, how do we get rid of that 1/3? We took it to the third. Well, how can I get rid of a 2/3? Say it.
Square it. I'm taking the third.
Well, you can multiply by
I want it to be a 1, right? How do I get 2/3 and get it to be a 1?
Oh, yeah,
3 over 2. Not over 3. 3 over 2.
Right.
Right? And look, that's going to be a 1. But what do I have to do here? I got to take that to the 3 over 2. That might be a better way to do it, tell you the truth. Okay? I don't know why I didn't think of that. So what do we get? We get 36 to the 3 over 2. Well, this is what you were talking about. This is where you were saying. So 36 to the 3 over 2 is the same thing as 36 to the 1/2. What? No, cubed. Right? So you know what this is in your head. 36 to the 1/2. That's the square root of 36. What's the square root of 36? It's just 6. So now it's just 6 cubed. And what's 6 cubed? 216.
That's what I was just trying to figure out your calculator.
All right? So you could do it that way. That's probably a little bit better than what I did up here. I was just thinking, since I taught you that thing where the exponents are the same, I was thinking in that direction. But that's probably a good way to do it right there. Well, my goodness, I don't want to take away all the fun. You've pretty much done everything, haven't you?
Wait, I don't understand 13.
It's the same exact thing.
Yep,
as-
same thing as the one we did earlier.
Alright.
Yep. So I've given you enough. Okay, now you can, I'm only giving you like a couple more to do, right? We've done pretty much everything. All right.